Guys, welcome back. We're going to be making a start on the next topic. So we're effectively going to be looking at the lead up to World War I, specifically in Europe. So between 1935 and 1939. Just to think back, all right, on what we have looked at so far. Japan has invaded and taken control of Manchuria. In 1935, Italy has invaded Abyssinia without repercussions from the League of Nations. And Hitler is rebuilding Germany and openly going against the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, remembering that the Treaty of Versailles was one of the key reasons for, causes of the beginning of World War II. All right, so here you've got sort of just a visual representation of what we have just said. All right, so you've got Manchuria over there on the right in the green. You've got the invasion of Abyssinia from 1935 in the yellow. Germany and Italian intervention in the Spanish Civil War in 1936 to 39 in purple, and Germans in Austria and Czechoslovakia from 1938 to 39. All right, so the appeasement strategy. This involved going into Germany, Italy, and Japan, hoping they would be satisfied and a war would be avoided. So we had the US isolationist policy, the British conservatives, sympathetic to fascism as it's seen as combating communism, and France was scared to take stand without Britain's support. All right, so we know that France already, they were a little bit indecisive in terms of their commitment on either side of the war, and this was very clear in this appeasement strategy. All right, so specifically looking at the US isolationist policy, losses from World War I led to desire amongst Americans to stay out of European and Pacific conflicts. There were rejected memberships to League of Nations, introduced neutrality acts between 1935 and 39 designed to prevent involvement in the war. On August 31st, 1935, Congress passed the first Neutrality Act prohibiting the export of arms, ammunition, and implements of war from the United States to foreign nations at war and requiring arms manufacturers and the United States to apply for an export license. In 1939, they lifted the arms embargo. All right. The Munich Agreement, September 1938. So meeting between the leaders of Italy, Germany, France, and Britain. Conceded the Sudetenland to Hitler. Neville Chamberlain, the British Prime Minister, also drafted a non-aggression pact with Germany. All right, which is ironic, seeming as a year later, less than, they were at war. On return to Downing Street, Chamberlain stated, "I believe it is peace for our time." In response, Winston Churchill said, "You were given the choice between war and dishonor. You chose dishonor, now you will have war." All right? And that's a good little clip, that YouTube clip, to watch as well, just to really solidify this. You've got the photograph here. So this composite photograph was made soon after the Munich conference. It shows the four leaders who signed the Munich Agreement playing cards: Hitler, Daladier, Neville Chamberlain, and Mussolini. All right, and we've looked at a few of those already. All right. You've got your map here. So it was the territory annexed by Germany, usually referred to as Sudetenland, and that's the land that Germany claimed effectively. All right, you are going to be doing a source analysis on this. Let me note, though, that previous source analysis that you guys have completed were not in enough detail, okay? For each of these, you should be writing a minimum of 50 to 100 words per analysis, all right? So per question. All right, on October 5th, 1938, House of Commons, Winston Churchill, and he has been quoted saying, "So far as this country is concerned, the responsibility must rest with those who have had the undisputed control of our political affairs. They neither prevented Germany from rearming, nor did they rearm themselves in time. They quarreled with Italy without saving Ethiopia. They exploited and discredited the vast institution of the League of Nations, and they neglected to make alliances and combinations which might have repaired previous errors, and thus they left us in the hour of trial without adequate national defense or effective international security. And do not suppose that this is the end. This is only the beginning of the reckoning. This is only the first sip, the first foretaste of a bitter cup, which will be proffered to us year by year unless by a supreme recovery of moral health and martial vigour we arise again and take our stand for freedom as in the olden time." Just remember, Winston Churchill, he was considered to be one of the best with words. All right, he was incredibly good at giving speeches, and this is just shown in this. You can really feel the power. All right, the steps that they took in appeasement. In March 1935, Hitler announced Germany had an air force and was reintroducing conscription. Britain and France did nothing, despite the fact that this actually was a breach of the Treaty of Versailles. All right, so you can see it's already starting quite early on. In June 1935, Anglo-German naval agreement allowed Germany a navy 36% the size of Britain's. All right, so substantially smaller. In 1936, Britain and France failed to act when Hitler marched 20,000 troops into the Rhineland. In 1938, May, Germany annexed Austria. In April 1938, Britain recognized the enlarged Germany. Sorry, those should be flipped. Britain and France did not assist Spanish Republic during the Spanish Civil War, whereas Germany were quite involved in that. April 1939, Italy annexed Albania. In May 1939, Italy and Germany signed Pact of Steel. All right, so they became solidified allies. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, non-aggressive pact signed by Stalin and Hitler, defined territorial spheres of influence Germany and Russia would have after successful invasion of Poland. Russia would control Latvia, Estonia, and Finland. Germany would gain Lithuania and Danzig. You can see there. So they really have tried to overtake as much as they possibly could, but pretty much all bordered the relevant areas, okay?